What no one ever told you about chasing love and relationships. We're going to break it down. If you're watching this video right now and you've been experiencing that when it comes to romantic relationships, when you put yourself out there, when you become interested in somebody, they become emotionally unavailable. Or maybe it's hot and cold. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. Or maybe as you invest more and like them more, they abandon you or ghost you. Whatever the dynamic, we're going to break it down, because as you start to understand what is going on energetically, you're going to be able to tap into your power and shift the dynamic. And as you know, if you've been watching this channel, manifestation is not about something you start doing. It's about understanding that you're already manifesting. When it comes to love right now, there's something that's happening inside of you, a belief, a deep down core subconscious idea that is essentially running the show. When you tap into that and recalibrate it, update it to be in alignment with what you want to experience, your outside world will have to reflect that inner change. Hey guys, my name is Abby, and I am here to help you if you are currently experiencing a cyclical hell-like pattern that you want to break out of. For so much of my life before I was taught this dynamic change, I was getting people who would reject me or who would ghost me or who just were not emotionally available. So I want to help to show you what I learned and how it's going to change your life. So let's get into it. So like I said before, this is for anybody who is currently experiencing a hot and cold or a ghosting or an abandonment, or just finding people who are not quite emotionally there. You're having to go and overextend yourself. If you let go, if you stop working, then the relationship's over. No matter what that dynamic is, we're going to break it down. We're going to do it now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And that delayed reaction of the descent. But here we go. So this is going to be you, and this is the person that you're interested in. Or maybe it's just an archetype of a person, right? Like a model of them. So what happens though is the energetics is when you chase somebody, right? You're putting yourself out there, wanting them. They are leaving, because what does it mean when you're chasing? You're having to pursue. So you be in this dynamic, right? You're looking and you're chasing after them, because this is where the first step in this whole thing. What does this relationship with this specific person potentially, or just a relationship, mean to you? Would it mean then you are whole and complete? Would them being interested in you then give you a sense of worth? Or maybe it makes you feel better about yourself, or maybe your life's more exciting because you have someone to experience it with. What you have to understand that is, person right here is reflecting a way you see yourself. This person is representing an idea of how you feel about yourself. Since you haven't owned it, you're unconscious of it, you're not aware of it. At one point, it was too much for you, you pushed it down, you were taught to do that, a magnitude of different things. But if you don't feel very good about yourself, if you don't see yourself as valuable, you don't see yourself as whole and complete, right? This person is going to show this to you. This person is going to agree with you that they don't see you as valuable. And the lack of truth, or the fallacy, would be that you need this person to have a sense of worth, that you need this person to be in a relationship with you so that you feel different. Now, when it comes to hot and cold, right? They're there, they're not there. What you got to see is your connection with yourself. You're with you and you're like, okay, I'm all right. I don't need anybody else. I'm going to be good. I want to do my work. Then you see potentially a romantic partner, and then you leave, right? So you were good with yourself, and then you abandoned yourself, right? Abandon yourself meaning that you made this person's opinions or decisions or behaviors more important. And basically it takes over your state of being. This is personally absolutely true for me. I would become so obsessed with people. Now, realize this is not my current situation. The dynamic hit ahead for me, like the ultimate peak, when I was physically abused. I was physically assaulted by somebody that I was interested romantically at the time. That's how much self-abandonment. Basically, I had no standards, that I had participated to such a degree that I didn't see all the warning signs, all the disrespect. I had to participate in disrespecting myself. And again, just as a disclaimer, I never think that anybody who's physically, emotionally, psychologically abused is asking for it, or is, like, oh, well, look, you deserved it. There's absolutely none of that. What I'm speaking of is basically all the ways that I was disrespecting myself and not showing myself that I was valuable and putting up and taking crumbs. If I would have listened to what was going on in my needs, I was looking for a consistent, reliable, safe connection. But I didn't have that with myself. And so what I was finding is a reflection of an inconsistent, unreliable, and unsafe connection in my outside world that was a mirror to my own situation, my own relationship with myself. So the energetics and what you need to understand is as you're chasing, you need somebody to chase, somebody who's not going to be there. And here's another thing that I learned about my experience is that I kept finding emotionally unavailable people in my past, in my previous dynamic. I found people who sometimes would be there, sometimes wouldn't, or maybe they'd show up in small ways, but not big ways. Maybe if I did something really, really nice, they might acknowledge me a little bit. These people weren't bad, they're not evil. However, they're reflecting a part of me that I was completely oblivious to. So I had to realize, I found emotionally unavailable people because I was emotionally unavailable to myself. So when I chased somebody and they were showing they weren't emotionally available, and I continued to think, I should keep investing time and energy in this person, even though they're not respecting me, I don't feel safe here, I'm having to really give. I wasn't even asking myself, is this something that's good for me? I was so obsessed with what this person in my perspective could bring to me that I was willing to do, say, and then be anyone as long as they wanted to be with me. So if I was willing to be anyone, that means I was willing to be not myself in order that they would connect. Meaning I was willing to abandon myself to keep this connection. And I say connection because essentially I'd create this false version of me up here so they would connect. Like needless, wantless, whatever. Yeah, I'm good with that, right? The yes sir, yes ma'am. Well, they were connecting to this person and I was connecting with them, trying to. No one was connecting with me. So, it's really, really important that you understand that you have to be, if you want to see a reliable, safe, consistent connection in a romantic partner, that sounds pretty amazing. And I can tell you, it is amazing because when I shifted this dynamic, when I did exactly what I'm telling you, I reversed engineered it. Okay, I want them to be reliable. I want them to be consistent. I want them to feel safe. I want them to be kind. And then on and on and on and on. But these are the biggest things for me, specifically after being physically assaulted. Reliable, consistent, safe, and kind. If I wanted that in them, okay, if that's a reflection, what has to happen first? I have to be reliable, consistent, safe, and kind to myself. So basically, I must be to myself, my own inner relationship, first to me before I can see it reflected in somebody else. So I have to have that relationship with myself. Was it annoying? At first I thought, yeah, it was. Like, why can't I just find somebody who loves me more than I don't like myself? Why can't that happen? And I really, really, really fought. And again, I don't recommend it because it basically, my situation led to physical abuse because I wasn't reliable, I wasn't consistent, I wasn't kind, and I wasn't safe to me. And what did I find? Before I found that in the other person because that was in me. So again, if you want a reliable, consistent, safe, kind, whatever it is though, what you want right now, you have to be it first. What no one tells you about the dynamic when you're chasing a relationship and chasing love is when you chase love, when you chase relationships, you're running away from yourself because you're not listening to who is being kind, who is being safe, who is being reliable. And you're willing to give it up so that this person will give you that, affection or that attention. If you grew up in a dynamic where you were emotionally ignored or you just didn't have your needs met or your big emotions and your needs were too much for your parents aren't bad, we're not blaming them. However, you learned to be in a relationship, you had to ignore your needs, you had to ignore yourself and go to the other person's world. You're in that old habit and that is no longer relevant. You did that to keep you safe and alive as a kid and now it's time to upgrade. Realize that whatever it is, list right now what it is you'd want in a relationship. We're not talking about the outside world. We're talking about what this relationship would make you feel. Safe, loved, valued, appreciated. Now just ask yourself, do you appreciate you? Do you value you? And if the answer is no, and you're like, I don't love myself, I absolutely resonate with that. I didn't either. And that's why I found people in my life who didn't love me either. We agreed on that. And I thought, oh, if I could prove it, if I could get them to love me, then I'd love myself. But that dynamic never would happen because I was looking in a mirror of how I really felt about me. Again, it wasn't until I really had to take a huge step back because I thought I could die if I continued this, that it really changed. And I had to see, okay, I've got to change the dynamic with myself if I want this dynamic to change. And guess what? It no longer involved getting interested in people who were not interested in me. It became asking, okay, is this person safe? What is this person offering me right now? Do they expand my sense of safety? What are they showing? Are their words and their actions in alignment? Or are they saying and doing one thing? And where is my discernment? Where am I allowing my intuition and my needs to be existing in the place with this, right? So if I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to ignore that flag that's probably red, but maybe it's just a yellow one, not a big deal. If you're giving the people the benefit of the doubt and you're doubting your own intuition, question, how is your ultimate wisdom to lead you to your ultimate highest self going to have any guidance if you're ignoring it? And again, looking back in your childhood, maybe you had to ignore your intuition to stay safe. And now it's a different time. You're an adult and you get to make a new choice. Every time you start to have that old dynamic and you make a new choice in the moment, you get the chance to experience a new reality. Your reality right now may have all kinds of people treating you poorly. What you got to look at is, what is your relationship with yourself? The more you start to feel that connection, the more you start to up your standards that you are worthy. You exist, and that is your proof of worth. That's all you need to know that you deserve the best. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to feel love. You deserve to feel appreciated. And it starts with you. As you stop running away from yourself and you start to see, what is it you need? You're not needy for having needs. You're a human being. And human beings have needs. And you are worthy to have your needs filled by yourself, by others, romantic, friends, everyone. You're worth it. You deserve it. As you start to look at the dynamic of what could be happening in your inner world, you start to remove the belief that is all you're worth, the more you'll start to recognize a new opportunity in the moment and move closer. This dramatically shifted my entire world. As I shifted the relationship I have with myself, and I'm consistent, reliable, kind, and I value myself, I see this consistently in the relationship I have now, in a partner who loves me, values me, is reliable and consistent. I know that the same is available to you as you start to open your eyes and receive it. I love y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, click that like button. If you haven't done so already, join this community, get on over here. And if you found value from this video, I picked this one for you next. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.